Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News at 6 tonight. I'm Mark Hanrahan.
And I'm Whitney Ward. Election season is in full swing. Washington's primary is nearly 24 hours away. And not only will voters choose the next president eventually, but in Washington, they will choose a new governor, U.S. senator, and several state representatives, including right here in eastern Washington.
In our effort to bring you more to every story, we sat down with a WSU political science professor to get more insight on this election cycle and how it may differ from others.
We're going to evict this radical and incompetent administration from the White House. They're destroying our country.
While the presidential race is drawing the most attention nationally,
America has tried these failed policies before, and we are not going back.
it's also a big year for the state of Washington, starting with the race for governor. When Jay Inslee announced he would not seek another term, several candidates jumped into the race. On the left, current Attorney General Bob Ferguson continues to top the polls. On the right, Dave Reichert and Simi Bird have emerged as the top two candidates in a contest that's divided the party.
Usually when there's, at the state level, the governorship is a very salient election that draws in a lot of voters, a lot of interest.
That's Assistant Professor of Political Science Michael Ritter. We asked him to weigh in on the race for governor.
But I would say that Washington being a very solidly Democratic state and with a substantial percentage of independent voters, I think even Republican figures have to be mindful of the moderate center of the Washington state population. And so I'd say the non-MAGA faction, such candidates would be more competitive in more of Washington.
In the race for Washington's 5th congressional district, longtime incumbent Republican Cathy McMorris Rodgers also announced she would not seek another term. Nearly a dozen candidates jumped into the race. Ritter says while a leader has emerged in the polls, races for open seats tend to be more competitive.
It's likely to stay in the Republican category, so to speak, but open elections tend to be very competitive and lead to the possibility that maybe there will be a change in party representation.
And finally, the race for president. Ritter says former President Donald Trump continues to be a dominant candidate on the right. On the left, he says Kamala Harris is bringing renewed energy to the party, especially among younger voters. He believes it's all going to come down to independents.
According to Gallup data, independents are a majority of the population, that they're more numerous than Republicans or Democrats. And so when you ask yourself, how is a Republican or a Democratic politician, how are they going to make their appeals, think about trying to attract that independent voter.
Also on the ballot in Washington, a U.S. Senate seat, there are about a dozen candidates vying for the position, including the incumbent, Democrat Maria Cantwell, who leads her next closest opponent by about 20 percentage points in our sister station's most recent polling. Again, remember, this is a top two primary. The two candidates with the most votes will advance to the general election in November, regardless of party. So it is possible there will not be both a Democrat and a Republican in each race moving forward.